Have you ever noticed subtle patterns in your life, moments when something inside you stirs at the slightest hint of change, as if guided by an unseen hand? Some people believe that there are marks on the palms that do more than decorate our skin. They serve as gentle nudges toward a larger purpose. Maybe you've heard whispers of a small crescent moon shape near the nail, or a natural M formed by lines on your palm. Perhaps you know someone who seems drawn to these ideas, or maybe you've felt it yourself. A pull to look more closely at what lies beneath the surface. This isn't about fortune-telling or strict dogma. It's an invitation to pay attention to inner signals and subtle callings. If you find yourself curious or moved by this idea, stay with me. We'll explore what it can mean to carry such a sign, not as a label, but as a reminder. You might be here with something special to share. Understanding hand signs as invitations. When we speak of marks on the hand that hint at a life's mission, it's easy to dismiss them as odd curiosities. Yet for many, these shapes feel like an echo of something ancient, an inner whisper more than a visual spectacle. Think of a mark not as a destiny stamped in ink, but as a quiet invitation. Pay attention to how you feel, to the ways you connect, and to what you might offer beyond everyday routines. Whether or not you see a shape on your palm, the idea encourages you to notice what resonates. Sensitivity to others, a drive to act, or a tension between inner knowing and outer doing. Let's explore a few of these patterns as metaphors for different ways we might be called to live, always remembering that the true mark is in our own awareness and choices. The crescent moon, living with subtle sensitivity. Imagine someone who seems to sense shifts in mood or energy around them before others do. They may wake with vivid dreams, carry an unspoken empathy, and feel drawn to watch natural rhythms, sunsets, moon phases, the hush of early morning. In the language of these hand signs, this is often likened to a small crescent moon near the nail. It doesn't shout, it nudges. It suggests a person who experiences life through an intuitive lens. They notice unspoken feelings, changes in atmosphere, and sometimes feel a little out of place because they see things others overlook. This sensitivity can be a gift. It deepens compassion, helps in offering comfort, and supports creative insight. It also invites an ongoing practice of self-care. When you feel too much, you learn to carve out quiet moments, perhaps a walk in nature, meditation, journaling, to process impressions that might otherwise overwhelm. For someone drawn to this path, the work is about honoring inner signals, trusting when to pause, when to listen, when to share. Over time, this can become a gentle leadership of its own, being a calm presence that soothes confusion and lights subtle paths for others. It's not about grand speeches. It's about holding space where people feel understood and seen. If you relate to this sensitivity, notice how your empathy moves you toward creative expression, healing roles, or simply deep listening friendships. Your mark reminds you to lean into feeling, to trust that inner guide, and to balance external demands with restful solitude. The letter M. Quiet leadership in action. Now consider someone else who, from early on, felt an inner clarity about taking responsibility or stepping forward when choices matter. They might not announce themselves with fanfare, but when a task arises or an injustice appears, they instinctively act. In palmistry-inspired language, a clear M shape emerges naturally. This doesn't mean control in a harsh way. It means a kind of grounded leadership, seeing what's needed and moving toward it. These individuals often have strong emotional intelligence. They read people and situations with ease, sense when something is off, and know how to guide conversations or projects toward balance. Living with this energy involves learning to distinguish between genuine calling and external pressure. When others see your capability, they may expect you to handle everything. The challenge is to recognize your own needs, to rest when you're tired, to seek support when burdens grow heavy, and to lead without losing touch with your own heart. True leadership here is rooted in honesty and compassion, speaking truths kindly, steering actions with purpose, and resisting the temptation to please everyone. It's about planting seeds rather than chasing approval, about steady influence rather than flashy authority. If this resonates, ask, where does your drive come from? Is it aligned with what truly matters to you? Notice moments when you feel most alive. Often those hints point you toward projects or causes where you can guide with authenticity. Your M invites you to act with integrity, to transform environments gently but firmly, and to remember that strength and sensitivity can walk side by side. Double M, balance between doing and being. A rarer scenario is when someone senses both the practical leadership energy and the inner sensitivity strongly, akin to having an M on each hand. This suggests a person who straddles two modes, deep feeling and decisive action. You might find yourself drawn to both reflective practices, like meditation or creative expression, and active problem-solving in daily life. You feel pull from within to explore meaning, but also a clear drive to manifest ideas into reality. It can feel like living in two worlds, the inner realm of symbols and intuition, and the external realm of tasks and tangible results. This balance is powerful, but demands self-awareness. You may feel restless if stuck only in reflection, or uneasy if thrown solely into action without time to recharge. The invitation is to weave both. Let intuition inform your plans, and let concrete steps ground your insights. In relationships, you might be the one who both listens deeply to others' struggles and helps implement solutions. In work, you could blend visionary ideas with practical strategies. The key is to honor both sides. Schedule moments of solitude to nourish inner knowing, and allocate clear timeframes for action-oriented work. Recognize that each complements the other. Feeling without follow-through can lead to frustration, and doing without depth can feel hollow. Your double M calls you to integrate. Be a bridge between insight and implementation, embodying a leadership that emerges from authenticity. When you stay attuned to both dimensions, your influence becomes a model, showing that one can build meaningful results without losing connection to deeper values. Moon plus M, translating inner knowing into impact. Sometimes both a crescent moon and an M appear on the same hand, symbolizing the blend of intuitive sensitivity with leadership capacity. In daily life, this might look like someone who feels subtle nudges. This feels off. That could work better. And immediately knows how to make adjustments or speak up. You sense what's needed at an unseen level and also have the practical sense to bring change. This fusion can feel intense. Part of you wants retreat, contemplation, or creative wandering. Another part urges action, communication, and concrete steps. The blessing is that you can serve as translator, taking inner messages and shaping them into projects, guidance, or healing practices that benefit others. To walk this path, cultivate practices that honor both energies. Perhaps start the day with a brief moment of quiet reflection, then move into focused work that applies what you've sensed. Notice how your intuition steers you towards certain people or ideas, then test those intuitions in real-world settings. In conversations, you might notice unspoken concerns and gently bring them forward, helping groups address deeper issues. You may find fulfillment in roles where empathy and strategy meet: coaching, community initiatives, creative leadership, or holistic therapies. At times, balancing these forces requires clear boundaries. Allow yourself solitude when emotions feel intense, and set limits on endless planning so that action follows. Your combined mark is a reminder to honor both dimensions and to trust that inner signals can guide meaningful steps. Supreme calling, deep sensitivity with strong purpose. A very rare combination is carrying both the crescent moon and double M signs, an indication, in this symbolic framework, of someone born for a profound mission, to sense hidden rhythms of life deeply and to enact significant change with clarity. From early on, these individuals may have felt they don't quite fit ordinary patterns, as if guided by inner currents that others do not perceive. They can pick up energies, see patterns in events, and understand cycles that underlie many experiences. At the same time, they possess a strong capacity to organize, lead, and bring visions into form. This union can feel both exhilarating and heavy. Exhilarating because of the vast potential to help and transform. Heavy because the sensitivity may become overwhelming, and expectations, internal or external, can weigh heavily. For someone identifying with this profile, life often brings tests that refine both empathy and resolve. Difficult situations appear not as punishments but as forging fires. Each challenge calls you to deepen self-care and sharpen discernment. You learn to protect your energy, knowing when to withdraw into restorative practices and when to step forward with confidence. Inner guidance might come through vivid dreams or strong intuitive hits. Outer action might involve leading community efforts, creating healing spaces, or advocating for wide-reaching causes. The balance lies in recognizing that your worth is not judged by visible achievements alone, but also by staying true to inner values. When you find the right rhythm, listening deeply, then acting wisely, you become a channel where compassion and impact flow together. Your mark, if seen as a metaphor, encourages you to respect the intensity of your path. Carve out sacred routines, nature retreats, meditation, creative expression, while also mapping clear projects that embody your vision. Over time, this alignment can bring a sense of fulfillment, living a life where your sensitivity and strength serve a purpose greater than yourself. The awakening process, remembering what's always been there. No matter which pattern resonates most, crescent moon, single M, double M, or combinations, the heart of the matter is awakening, remembering who you truly are beyond everyday distractions. Often this realization sneaks in quietly, a moment of stillness, a pause in routine, a feeling that whispers, "There's more than this." It may come early or later, but when it arrives, you start noticing repeated messages in daily life, synchronicities, recurring themes in conversations, certain dreams or feelings that persist. You realize that your sensitivities, insights and drives are not random quirks, but signposts pointing toward a deeper journey. This awakening does not mean becoming someone entirely new. It's more like rediscovering a part of yourself that was always there, but hidden under layers of habit, doubt, or external expectations. You might feel misunderstood by those who see you only through conventional roles. That can feel lonely, yet it's part of the path. To trust the inner voice even when others question it. Over time, you build a community of kindred spirits, people who resonate with similar callings, even if their outward lives look different. In sharing stories, you both reinforce your courage to follow inner guidance and co-create support systems where vulnerability and authenticity are honored. Living with authenticity and purpose. Being chosen, in this sense, isn't about status, special favors, or exclusivity. It's about responsibility, attending to what pulses within you and allowing that vibration to guide your choices. If you feel drawn to these ideas, start small. Notice moments when you feel particularly alive or aligned, and note what led there. Experiment with simple practices, quiet reflection, journaling impressions, engaging in conversations that honor depth rather than surface chatter. When you act, check inwardly. Does this resonate with your core? If not, adjust. If it does, pursue it wholeheartedly, trusting that the path may not always be smooth, but will unfold in meaningful ways. In relationships, you may find that others open up more easily when you share from a place of genuine listening rather than rehearsed advice. In work, projects that align with your inner guidance often bring more satisfaction than those driven solely by external rewards. In creative endeavors, letting intuition shape ideas can lead to surprising breakthroughs. Even mundane tasks become meaningful when approached as opportunities to practice awareness and compassion. Over time, you build a life where outer actions reflect inner values. A collective journey. Though these hand signs are metaphors, the shared idea is that diverse gifts, sensitivity, leadership, balance, complement one another. The world shifts when people with different callings connect. The calm insight of intuitive souls meets the purposeful drive of leaders. Practical solutions gain depth when guided by empathy. Visionary ideas find grounding through strategic planning. When you recognize your own tendencies, whether more inclined toward feeling, doing, or weaving both, you can appreciate others' strengths and collaborate more fruitfully. Simple encounters, listening circles, collaborative projects, informal talks can ignite movements of healing and growth. Each person's journey matters, and each awakening contributes to a wider awakening. Practical steps for your path. Rather than listing many prescriptive steps, consider a few simple practices you can adapt. Observe without judgment. Notice inner signals, thoughts, feelings, dreams, without labeling them as weird or wrong. Treat them as useful data about your deeper self. Create quiet space. Regular moments of solitude or gentle activity, a walk, journaling, meditation, help you sort impressions and recharge. Test intuitive hits. When you sense a direction or idea, try small experiments to see how it resonates in the real world. Adjust as you learn. Set healthy boundaries, especially if you tend toward leadership or deep empathy. Practice saying no when needed and seek support when burdens grow heavy. Connect with kindred spirits. Share experiences with people who value depth and authenticity. Mutual support strengthens individual paths. Blend feeling and action. Let empathy inform your choices and allow clear plans to channel insights. If one side dominates, gently steer back toward balance. These practices are flexible. Adapt them to your life rhythm. The aim is to remain attentive to inner callings and to translate them into actions that align with your values. Recognizing your own mark. You might literally see a shape on your palm, or you might simply resonate with themes of sensitivity, leadership, or balanced integration. Either way, the essence lies in noticing what feels true for you. Ask yourself, do I often sense things beyond the obvious? Do I naturally step forward when action is needed? Do I juggle both deep feeling and decisive doing? Or perhaps I experience all of this strongly and sometimes feel stretched. Whatever your experience, treat it as valuable information about how you can best contribute and grow. You could share in comments or conversations. I notice I feel deeply but sometimes hesitate to act. How can I trust my insight and also step forward? Or, I often find myself leading others but struggle to care for my own needs. Such reflections help clarify your path. Remember, the mark on your hand is less important than the mark in your heart, the willingness to live with authenticity, courage, and purpose. Awakening as a continuous journey. Awakening isn't a one-time event with fireworks. It's a gradual unfolding. You may notice phases, periods of insight and clarity, moments of doubt or difficulty, times when you feel a surge of energy to start something new, followed by a need to retreat and integrate. All of this is normal. Trust that each phase teaches you. Doubts refine your discernment. Challenges deepen your compassion. Successes show you what resonates. Setbacks guide adjustments. Keep returning to simple questions. What feels most alive for me now? Where do I sense alignment between inner guidance and external possibility? When decisions arise, check the quiet voice inside. Over time, you build confidence in navigating life's twists with both awareness and resilience. If any of this touches you, perhaps it's time to look more closely at your hands, at your feelings, at the subtle patterns in your life. Not to become obsessed, but to open a dialogue with yourself. Who am I beyond routines and expectations? What inner signals am I ready to trust? How can I let my sensitivity or drive serve a greater good? You need not figure everything out today. Simply notice, reflect, and take small steps aligned with what feels true. And remember, you are part of a wider unfolding. When you awaken to your own calling, you ripple out invitations for others to awaken too. I'd love to hear, do you feel drawn to these ideas? Have you observed subtle signals, on your hand or in your life, that sparked curiosity? Share in the comments which theme resonates: sensitivity, leadership, balance, or a deeper blend of all. Each story illuminates another facet of this collective journey. Together, we learn that being chosen isn't about special status, but about responding responsibly to the stirrings within. When each of us honors our own path, we contribute to a world more alive, compassionate, and purposeful.